song there. Best-selling author Brad Meltzer is known for crafting fictional thrillers. Now he's focusing on a real-life mystery. His new book is called The First Conspiracy, the secret plot to kill that general. That's George Washington, killed George Washington. It details an effort to undermine the American Revolution just before the signing of the Declaration of Independence and with British troops about to invade New York City. The plot connects counterfeiters, leading New York politicians, and even the future president's own bodyguards. Brad Meltzer is here first on CBS This Morning. Good morning.
Good to see you.
How did you find this story?
I found this story in the place where all the best stories are found, which is in the footnotes. And when I saw it, I was like, is this true? A plot to kill George Washington that no one knows about? And it was true.
This is Joseph Ellis, who's the Pulitzer Prize-winning biographer.
Yeah, I went to him and I said, did this really happen? And it really happened. When it happened, George Washington rounded up those responsible. He took one of the main conspirators and he hung him in front of 20,000 people, the largest public execution at that point in North American history. He brought the hammer down, was like, I'm George Washington.
He was mad,
with me.
Brad.
I'm going to be on the money one day,
Why did this story go secret when fake stories about Washington, like cutting down the cherry tree, which is apocryphal, were nevertheless ones that lived on?
And listen, the hanging happened on June 28, 1776. Guess what was happening in the world?
Wow.
The Declaration of Independence is coming. The British are literally there. And this gets lost to it. But it's the most amazing moment because George Washington at the time had his own private bodyguards. And he asked his regiments for the 4 best men that they could find. He wanted the best of the best. And these were the men who turned on him. They were called the lifeguards because they guarded George Washington's life. And I don't care how strong you are. When your inner circle turns on you, it is devastating.
It had to hurt his feelings. You even write that he never talked about how he felt and how he found out about it. But you said it must have really hurt his soul.
Yeah, and because, listen, this is the closest, your nearest and dearest, right? His personal lifeguards are the ones who turn on him.
And the housekeeper, you said, might have been involved.
Right.
That's another
he has his
little
own
wrinkle
housekeeper who's
there.
living in his house, and she disappears in the middle of the night, and it truly becomes a mystery. But what George Washington does is he immediately launches a secret committee to figure out what's happening. He calls it the greatest name of all, the Committee on Conspiracies, and with John Jay leading the charge. And this is, John Jay is the first Supreme Court Justice. He puts into motion interrogations, kicking in doors. And to this day, we all think of the CIA, the precursor being the OSS. It's actually this moment. To this day, in Secret Service headquarters, in CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, there's a room dedicated to John Jay, the father of counterintelligence. So it's not just the secret plot to kill George Washington. What you see in the book is you really see the birth of the counterintelligence movement in the United States.
Why did they want to kill him?
Yeah.
Why did they want to kill him?
Listen, he was the man in charge. And what I love about it is you get to see George Washington's character. When George Washington, there's a scene in the Battle of Brooklyn, and he's totally pinned against the wall. He should give up at that moment, and instead he plans a daring escape. And what he does is he commandeers all the boats on the East River. But here's the key moment. He won't get in the boats until all his men get in first.
Yeah.
And his men see what he's doing. He's risking his life for them. And so, again, what you see is not just the plot against George Washington. You see the depth of his character. And we need that in our leaders today. Yeah. We need to see, George Washington brought this country together. There wasn't a United States. He brought it together by putting his arms around it and saying to his own regiments, don't fight with each other, don't argue with each other. We need to be on the same team. That's where we are today.
All right, build the presidency on that character. Thank you, Brad Meltzer. The First Conspiracy, the secret plot to kill George Washington, is available today.